Hello students. Today I am going to explain human respiratory system of the first chapter of class 10 biology, that is life processes. Human respiratory system. Before we start this chapter, the very first thing we need to know is what do we mean by respiration. Respiration से आप क्या समझते हैं? This is a biochemical process. Respiration is a biochemical process in which living beings produce energy from food. It is a biochemical process in which living beings produce energy from food. This is what respiration. Once again there is a question, why do we need this system? What is the need of this system? The need of this system is without energy we are unable to do any kind of function. No proper growth, no proper physical or mental or any kind of processes will be done if there is no energy. And this energy is produced by the food, by the process of respiration. What does it mean? It means that in the presence of oxygen, our food is burnt. And this process is called oxidation of food. This process is known as oxidation of food. Burning of food in the presence of oxygen is called oxidation of food. And the result of this producing large number of energy. We cannot imagine our life even for a second without getting energy. This is continuous process. Even when we are sleeping, we respire and energy is produced. Before respiration, we have gone through human digestive system. In human digestive system, we have seen how the food is digested. So right after the digestion of food, actually the cells get all kind of raw food. Whatever food is digested, given by the blood to the different cells or the complete cells of our body. Then what happened? Then this oxygen, what is taken by the process of respiration, burn the food and produce energy. This oxygen burn the food in our cells and then it produces energy for functioning. Different types of function in our body cells. Now types of respiration. What are the types of respiration? There are two types of respiration. The first one is known as aerobic respiration and the second one is called anaerobic respiration. Aerobic and anaerobic respiration. The respiration which is done in the presence of oxygen is known as aerobic respiration. And the respiration which is done in the absence of oxygen, this is called anaerobic respiration. Now what is the difference between these both? When respiration is done in the absence of oxygen, then a very small amount of energy is produced. And this is mostly happens with some of the bacteria and enzymes and fungi. But anaerobic respiration, in anaerobic respiration, it is not complete broken of food. And aerobic respiration is the process which takes place in the presence of oxygen, where food is completely broken and a large amount of energy is produced. Where food is completely broken and a large amount of energy is produced. This anaerobic respiration, in the anaerobic respiration, hardly 2 ATP. ATP is the energy currency. Adenosine triphosphate is energy currency. When energy is produced, it stores in the form of ADP. And when our cells need this energy, then it is converted into ATP. So this is called energy currency. This energy currency produces energy to function. Before we go for further explanation of respiration, we also need to know breathing. What do we mean by breathing? Breathing is also a kind of function in which oxygen is taken inside and carbon dioxide is released. But this is simple physical process. Breathing is the simple physical process in which simply oxygen is taken and carbon dioxide is released. There is no breaking of food, there is no production of energy, simple physical work. It is a simple physical work, taking inside the food, inside the oxygen and removing carbon dioxide. What happens during breathing? There are some changes takes place in our body at the time of breathing. And this is what is known as mechanism of breathing, that you can also watch it in your body. At the time of breathing, there are some changes takes place in your body. So we can write the difference between this breathing process. Breathing process means inhalation and exhalation. So what are the differences between inhalation and exhalation? During inhalation what is done and during exhalation what is done? In mechanism of breathing, two processes are there. The first one is called inhalation. The first one is called inhalation and another one is called exhalation. Another one is called exhalation. So what happened in our body at the time of inhalation? When we inhale or when we take oxygen inside, obviously the lungs get filled with oxygen and it becomes fluffy. It swells. So this lungs, where it is found? It is found in your chest cavity. So when this lungs inflate, it needs more space. Your lungs need more space. So to provide the space, your collarbone, your front ribs bone is known as sternum. The front ribs are connected with sternum. It is just like tie. It is just like tie. So this sternum move outward. And when sternum move outward, obviously ribs are connected with the sternum. They also move outward to give the space to the lungs. And ribs are connected with intercostal muscles. These ribs are connected with intercostal muscles. So these intercostal muscles, what they do, they pull the ribs to move outward. Why? To give space to this lungs. So this part move outward, your lungs inflate. The thoracic cavity, the cavity where lungs are situated or located, that place is called thoracic cavity. This thoracic cavity, the volume of thoracic cavity increases. The volume of thoracic cavity increases. And can you see this diaphragm? This diaphragm is dome-shaped structure. It is the boundary of thoracic cavity and abdominal cavity. So this diaphragm, what happened when lungs inflate, when sternum moves outward, then this diaphragm becomes a bit flattened. Why? Once again, to give the space to lungs. This diaphragm, which is of dome shaped, it becomes flattened at the time of inhalation. Now what happened at the time of exhalation? When we release or when we remove carbon dioxide, at that time this collarbone, sternum moves inward. Lungs uninflated. Uninflated means earlier it was swollen because of the presence of air in it. Now air is released out, so it gets uninflated. Sternum go back to its own position. It goes back to its own position. Intercostal muscles, they all get relaxed. And diaphragm once again becomes dome shaped. Diaphragm, which was flattened, once again it goes and becomes dome shaped. This is what the mechanism of breathing. These are the changes which takes place at the time of breathing. Once again I am repeating, respiration is actually biochemical process in which food is burnt in the presence of oxygen to produce energy. But breathing is simple physical process in which inhalation and exhalation is done. means taking in oxygen and releasing out carbon dioxide. This is what the mechanism of breathing. Now we need to know aerobic and anaerobic respiration properly. Aerobic and anaerobic respiration properly. You know, actually this respiration completes in two stages. It has two stages. In these two stages, it completes its process. In first stage, either in the presence of oxygen or in the absence of oxygen. In first stage, either in the presence of oxygen or in the absence of oxygen, glucose is broken down in the cytoplasm of the cell. In the cytoplasm of the cell. Means what? The first breaking of glucose takes place in cytoplasm. And this process is, do you know what known as? This process is called glycolysis. This process is known as glycolysis. Means what? When we inhale, when we take oxygen inside our cells, then at that time it goes to the cells, and in the cytoplasm where the food is present in the form of glucose get broken, and first breaking of glucose takes place in cytoplasm, and this process is called glycolysis. Then what changes takes place at the time of glycolysis? At the time of glycolysis, when glucose is broken, it gives us 2 ATP with 2 molecules of pyruvate and 2 NADP. NADP. It means 3 things are given, but they all are found in 2 molecules only. What is the amount? 2 molecules of ATP, 2 pyruvate and 2 NADP. Once again I am repeating, this process takes place in cytoplasm. It doesn't matter it is aerobic respiration or anaerobic respiration. In both the type of respiration, the first stage is cytoplasm. The first stage completes in cytoplasm, where this number of or these things are produced. And then if this is in the absence of oxygen, if the first step of this respiration is breaking in the absence of oxygen, then pyruvate may change in alcohol or lactic acid. And this is both. If the lactic acid or alcohol is being produced, it means this process is called fermentation. This process is what known as fermentation. So we can define as when in the absence of oxygen, when bacteria respire or some of the fungi, when they respire, they produce 2 ATP of currents energy, 2 pyruvate and 2 NADP, which further get converted into either alcohol or lactic acid. This lactic acid is formed in muscular cells, mostly in striated cells. This lactic acid is produced in striated cells of body. Why it happens, you know? When because of any reason, if our body is not getting required amount of oxygen to produce energy, then lactic acid is formed. Means what? When our muscular cells, when our muscles do not meet the requirement of energy, then they start respiring anaerobically. And mostly it happens when any vigorous exercise or any vigorous physical work is done. Then it happens. Then the same pyruvate which was produced in the cytoplasm gets converted into lactic acid. Lactic acid by the muscular cells. And this lactic acid is also known as, due to this formation or due to the formation of lactic acid, we get muscular pain, which is also known as sprain. Or you can say that when lactic acid is formed in our muscles, it starts giving pain. So this what I have made you understand about fermentation and alcoholic fermentation. Alcoholic fermentation takes place by the anaerobic respiration of bacteria. They convert pyruvate into alcohol. So this is all about anaerobic respiration and glycolysis. Now just think, if the respiration is done in the presence of oxygen, if the same respiration is done in the presence of oxygen, this is called aerobic respiration. When this is done, then the same oxygen first gets broken into cytoplasm, as I have told you that in both the cases either aerobic or anaerobic, first stage completes in cytoplasm. And what do they form? 2 pyruvate, 2 ATP and NADP. The same pyruvate gets further broken, or you can say the glucose which is broken into pyruvate, they get further broken into mitochondria. There are some steps of reactions and the formation of energy. Around 10 steps are there. So the first step I told you completes in cytoplasm, and final step complete in mitochondria. So the production of energy, you can say the production of energy in the presence of oxygen completes in 2 stages. First in cytoplasm, and further, or you can say the complete breaking of glucose takes place in mitochondria. And finally, 38 ATP of energy is released with CO2 and water. This is what about respiration, types of respiration, breathing and the mechanism of breathing. Right now I explained you. When the second stage completes in mitochondria, this process is known as Krebs cycle. This process is what called Krebs cycle. First process was known as glycolysis, which was getting completed in cytoplasm, and when it completely broken, then it's known as Krebs cycle. So respiration completes in 2 stages. Aerobic respiration completes in 2 stages, glycolysis and Krebs cycle. So now we are going to know about the complete human respiratory system. Once again, I am making you remember about system. In digestive system also I have told you that system means when so many organs come together and work in a coordinated manner. This is called system. So the same thing is there. In human respiratory system, if you see properly, there are so many organs and they all are working in a coordinated manner to complete this system. The very first structure of this is nasal cavity. Through which air goes inside. This nasal cavity is actually nose, which has 2 cavities, which is divided by a cartilaginous structure. This cavity consists mucus, small hair projections and epithelial cells lined by epithelial cells. What is the function of this all? As we take air or inhale, we know well with the air so many other particles also goes inside. So this mucus, first of all, what it does, it moists the air. It provides moisturization. So it moists the air. The presence of hairs trap dust and dirt particle. At the same time, a very small microorganisms are trapped by mucus. And this epithelial tissue, what they do, they maintain the temperature of inhaled air. If it is too much cold, then the temperature is maintained. And if it is too much hot, then also it is decreased before reaching to the lungs. So this is all done by mucus and the small hairs and this epithelial cell. Now air goes to trachea, a long esophagus-like structure. You must remember in digestive system I had explained about food pipe. This is windpipe. This food pipe and windpipe are very close to each other. And the opening of both the pipe is known as pharynx. The opening of both the pipes, pharynx, where glottis is there. Glottis is the opening of windpipe, where a covering is found, flap-like structure is found, which is known as epiglottis, which prevents food to go inside the air pipe or the windpipe. So this is what pharynx. If you can see, right at the starting of trachea or windpipe, there is one structure, you can say dilated trachea. Starting of trachea is a bit dilated. That part is known as larynx, which is also known as voice box. This larynx is also called voice box. And this voice box is important for speaking, producing sound. This voice box is important for producing sound. Now air, through this trachea, air reaches to lungs. But before it reaches to lungs, let me tell you, this trachea divides into two parts. At the same time, trachea is covered by a C-shaped cartilaginous ring. The third part is trachea, and trachea is covered by a C-shaped cartilaginous ring. Why? It prevents the trachea to be collapsed. When there is no air, it may collapse, but it is prevented by this C-shaped cartilaginous ring. The same trachea gets divided into, before they enter in the lungs, they gets divided into bronchi and enter inside the lungs. And the same bronchi further divided, there is a secondary division, tertiary division, means the same bronchi divides into so many parts, so many branches, a lot of branches is there. This is what is known as bronchioles. Means what? Nasal cavity, larynx, then pharynx, trachea, bronchi. Another organ is bronchi, and then bronchioles. So, this bronchi, which is first divided into two parts and goes inside the lungs, finally further division takes place, primary, secondary and tertiary divisions. And the same bronchi divides into lots of bronchioles. These bronchioles, if you see properly, look at this structure. There are so many branches. At the end of every bronchioles, there is a bunch of grapes-like structure. Means at the end of every bronchioles, there is a bunch of grapes-like structure known as air sacs or alveoli. It is called air sacs or alveoli. What is the function of that? Exchange of gases takes place in alveoli. So you can say that the site of exchange of gases is alveoli or air sacs. They are very thin. Structure, richly connected with blood vessels. Rich supply of blood vessels there with alveoli. So what is the need of this much of alveoli, and what is the need of branching of this bronchi into so many bronchioles? Once again, the same as I have made you understand in digestive system. To increase the surface area, there is a rough structure called villi. In the same way, so many bronchioles connected with air sacs to increase the surface area of lungs, so that at the same time, within no time, lots of air can be taken and removed. Because we people are made up of millions of cells, and each and every cells need an energy for proper functioning. So this surface area, when increased surface area is there, it makes it easy to be produced, to produce energy by each and every cells. This is all about respiratory system. But the very important part of the respiratory system is lungs. What is this lungs? Lungs is a conical muscular structure found in your thoracic cavity. They are two in number. The right one is a bit bigger than the left one to give the space to the heart. And these lungs are fluffy, spongy, dark pink in color, richly supplied by the blood vessels. And this is covered by a double membranous structure called pleural membrane. Double membranous structure, and those membrane is called pleural membrane. What they are called? Pleural membrane. What is the function of this pleural membrane? Actually, this double layer of pleural membrane filled with, this is the double layer of pleural membrane, and in between these both the layer, there is a fluid found. That fluid is known as pleural fluid. It is called pleural fluid. What is the function of this fluid? It removes or it decreases the friction at the time of the movement of lungs. The movement of lungs is continuous, day and night, 24 hours. It expands and contracts at the proper interval. So when it expands and contracts at that time, this pleural fluid prevents, or you can say decreases, the frictions between lungs and this membrane. And because of that, it can expand and contract easily without any hassle. So this is all about human respiratory system. I hope you all will like this explanation. If you like, then please like, share and subscribe. And please don't forget to click the bell icon. Thank you.